Good morning. It's a beautiful day once again in Cornwall. I think that when we came home last Sunday, we brought that beautiful Caribbean weather with us. It's just been glorious all week, and it's been so lovely to be out and about on the coast path, enjoying Bertie Boo's company. I know that many of you were worried about Bertie Boo whilst we were away, but our friends come and live in our home whilst we're away, and Bertie loves them very, very much, and they love him and they spoil him. He's known them practically from the first day that we had him. Rest assured, we wouldn't go away if we weren't 110% certain that Bertie Boo was looked after. Anyway, let's get focused on needlework. I have got lots of things to show you today. I'm going to try and do things in order so that I don't forget anything. So first of all, I thought that I would answer some of the questions I've had in emails, and I think that if one person asks a question, there's more people who would like to ask the same question. So the first one is very quick. What size hoop do I use when I travel? I had to measure it. I use a 7-inch hoop. What I would really like to use would be a vintage Queen hoop, but they're so expensive and they're so sought after that I've not yet been able to secure one, but I'm on the lookout, and maybe one day I'll be lucky and get a vintage Queen hoop at a affordable price. So that's my hoop. It's 7 inches. The other question that I had, and I thought this was a really good question. People have seen that I've been using the Vera Soie silks, the 103 spools to stitch with, and the question is, what do I do about the ends? Well, what I do, these reels come with these little tops which you can pop open, but you do have to be careful not to pop them too far so you break them. So what you do, you get your thread and you just put it in the top, and then you just press it down. Just a second, I didn't quite put that end in enough. There we are. So that's all secured there, so I won't have a loose spool floating around my stitching case. Then the next question is, what do I do with my ends of my silks? Well, I'm not going to waste that, and I want to keep this with that. So what I do, I have the end that's on the spool at the top, and then at the bottom I take a needle and I just pull my thread through, put my thumb on the end, I wrap it around, and then I do exactly the same at the bottom. I open the end of the spool, I push the thread in, secure it. Then the next time I pick up this colour, I know at the top it's the end that's attached to the whole spool, and if there's a thread at the bottom, I know I have some leftover thread from the last time I used the colour, so I know which ends to go for. That way it's securely stored. I haven't got a tangle of threads in the container where I'm keeping my threads. So that's how I cope with my ends on a spool. Right, what was the next question? Oh yes, the next question was that people have noticed that I stitch with very wide margins on my linen, and I've always done that. I think it stems back to when I almost ran out of space on a project where I'd miscounted my starting spot, and then I also found, before I was reproducing, when I was stitching just for myself, that as I was working a sampler, sometimes I decided that I wanted to personalise it and change it, and it was always very nice to have that surplus fabric so that I could be creative throughout the process. And now I'm designing, I like to have surplus fabric because I often like to stitch out a test area and none of it goes to waste. I haven't made any cushions for the last few years, but before I started reproducing for Hands Across the Sea samplers, what I used to do with my surplus linen, this was an end piece, is to make cushions. So this and this strip were all surplus from a project, and I happen to have some more of this fabric, so I decided to use that to make this cushion. I've done lots of them over the years, just using leftover strips. It's surprising, what you can create with them. I think this is very obvious about these strips, so it's great fun. And this one, it's not any linen, but when I was thinking about showing you those cushions, I remembered that when I made this cushion, I posted a tutorial on my old blog, Stitching by a Cornish Seashore. So what I'll do on this video, in the description, I'll put a link to this tutorial if you would like to make a cushion similar to this one. Right, I think that was all the questions that I was asked. Oh no, there was one more question, and a few weeks before I went away, I posted that the new Vera Soir shade cards were out, and this shade card has been a long time coming, but it's been well worth waiting for. It's full of all the Dalgety colours, and there are shade cards for other ranges in the Vera Soir. Unfortunately not the 103 though. You actually get little samples of the actual silks. And as a designer reproductionist, this is absolutely invaluable. I've been asked where you can get them from, and I got mine directly from Vera Soir because I'm a registered designer with them. But I know that a few years ago, So&So in the UK used to stock them. I'm sure there are many stores around the world that will have these eventually. I think there was a lot of people waiting for these, and probably many of them got snapped up. But let your store owner know that you want a shade card, and then they can order one for you. That was all the questions I was asked. So let's get down to some goodies to show you. I love scissors, and they are such a temptation. You can't resist them. And after Nashville, there was the big show in Paris, and I succumbed to temptation, and I have a new pair of Monsieur Roulet scissors, and the ones I chose were these, and they're absolutely beautiful. So those are my new pair. I know it's an extravagance, but I don't smoke, I don't drink, and we do actually lead fairly simple lives here. So this is my treat. It's probably, I don't know, for a birthday in 5 years' time, because I keep on having birthday presents in advance, but that's a real little treasure for me, and I will get much pleasure. They're just like designer handbags or shoes, and I can't wear high heel shoes anymore, so these are my bit of retail therapy spoiling fix. But Monsieur Roulet also makes other scissors as well besides the collector's edition, and I picked up this pair of Monsieur Roulet scissors for everyday use, and they're beautiful. Very sharp, lovely. Can you hear that? It's divine when you open and close them. They just feel absolutely fabulous. So these are ones that I plan to use at home. Not travelling, they're just a little tad too big for travelling in case they get confiscated. And I would hate a Monsieur Roulet pair of scissors, whether they are from the more inexpensive range or the expensive range, to be confiscated. When I was at Asheville, I had a very quick look on Sunday afternoon around the various rooms, and I came across a company called Puffin. And I was talking to the lady, and she had this beautiful, what first looked like a brooch on her lapel. And I said to her, I said, that's absolutely gorgeous. And she said, yes, she said, you hold scissors in them. And you put your scissors into this brooch, or clip on maybe rather than a brooch, so you always know where they are. Now, I'm always losing my scissors, so I ordered 3 different designs, and they're going to be ready for me to pick up when I'm in the States at the end of May. Oh, I think we've got a visitor. I heard somebody pour in the door. Are you coming to visit us, Bertie Boo? Are you going to come and visit? Yes, you are. He wants to go out for his walk, but his daddy's taking him this morning because I am very, very busy at the moment on a project which I'll talk about at the moment. He has to wait until the end of the day for his walk from me. Let me just go and put him out, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to get the samplers out. Come on, Bertie. Just give me a minute. I'm sorry. You can look at that beautiful sample while I'm running to the door. Come on, out you go. Out you go. Go to Daddy. Right, I'm back. Right, okay, talking about samplers, when I was away I did a little video and I mentioned that I was expecting a sampler to arrive when I was away, and yes, it did arrive, and it's beautiful. I'm so thrilled with this sampler. Now again, we've got a little bit of reflection, but look at that, isn't that absolutely beautiful? When I see a sampler like this, my fingers literally itch to stitch. It is gorgeous, and it's in such wonderful condition. Now I need to really get this under the magnifier to study it, but I've been very wrapped up with this project. Now let's just have a look and see. This was stitched by Mary Wills, circa 1755. I don't think the date is actually on the sampler, but it's come with family history, and so that's how we know how old the sampler is. And for something from the 1700s, that's really quite amazing for it to be in this condition. So hopefully in the future this will be a reproduction available from Hands Across the Sea samplers. And another sampler came when I was away, and this one was stitched by Elizabeth Pierce in 1823, and the amazing thing about this sampler is the beauty of the workmanship, the stitching skills in this sampler, and the fact she was only 6 years old when she stitched this sampler. Isn't that just amazing? It's an amazing sampler in its own right, but when you think that that little girl was 6 years old, I just think that is absolutely amazing. I wonder what her needlework skills were like when she was even older. She must have been superb. So there we are, just 6 years old. It blows you away. So I'm really looking forward again to studying this one. I'm not going to reproduce this one, but I wanted to share it with you anyway. Now there's 2 samplers here that, just a second, let me just put those safe. Hate for anything to happen to them. That I can't actually show you the fronts. But these are the 2 projects I'm working on at the moment, and as you can see there's a great difference in size. This was my travelling project when I was away that I stitched whilst travelling. I've laced it and it's ready to go to the framers. I've chosen the frame, and I should be able to take it in Tuesday, and the framer will pop her in the frame, and then this will be available maybe about the end of, oh no, it can't be the end of May because I'm in the States. When I get back from the States, which will be about the 2nd week of June, hopefully I'll be able to release her then, so that you have her to stitch on your summer break. She was a fun stitch, and I had a great deal of pleasure working on this sampler. Now this one, it's a big girl, and this is the Queen of the May for 2019, and this sampler takes my breath away, and I am very, very excited to release her, and at the moment I am putting the booklet together. And in fact yesterday I started at 9 o'clock and I actually switched the computer off at 2 o'clock in the morning. I just get lost in the time period and I get lost with what I'm doing, and my husband says, "You're working too hard, you promised me you were going to work." I say, "Yes, but I'm really, really enjoying myself, darling." So he just keeps bringing in cups of tea to keep me going. So today I'm not going to spend that amount of time because I want to get out and enjoy the day. So I'll break mid-afternoon and get Bertie out. With this girl, she is a magnificent sampler. She was very worthy to be a Queen of the May. She is a limited edition. The booklet is by far the biggest booklet and the biggest production that we've done. The limited edition is going to be a run of 1,500 booklets maximum. She will not be reprinted after that. I can't do more than 1,500. It takes ages to pack all the booklets, and it's just too much to do anymore. There is only me. I don't want Hands Across the Sea samplers to have to rent storage space, and I don't want to be able, or I just do not want to do that. I've had my professional career. I retired several years ago. Embroidery and needlework is my hobby. Hands Across the Sea samplers is a sort of end product of my hobby, and I don't want it to get that you know, it's becoming too serious and it takes over my life. So the stores that attended Nashville saw the Queen of the May and they reserved copies. There are no more copies for stores. The whole of the wholesale allowance went at market. And if you are interested in Queen of the May, even without seeing it, I would recommend that you let your store know so that they can reserve your copy out of their reserved order. What can I tell you about her? Well, I don't want to give too much away because I want to do a grand reveal on May Day. She's not a beginner sampler. She is a minimum for an intermediate needleworker. But even if you're just beginning to stitch, this is something that you can aspire to. So even if you can't or you don't have the skills to stitch this sampler today, next year or the year after, you may have those skills. So don't shut your mind off to her because you're a beginner. All things are possible if you believe, and if you are determined, you can do whatever you put your mind to. So that's enough for Queen of the May for the moment. What else? Oh, other things I've picked up, and this is lovely. You all know Faye Rigsby, and you know her finishing is superb, and lots of us use Faye for finishing smalls. I have a few of Faye's products. One of the stitching pouches that you often see me using, Faye stitched that. Now this is another one of the rolls to store your projects, and I saw Faye at Sassy Jack's, when was I last there? In August, and I asked her if she would make me this stitching roll, and I wanted it to be a specific size. So here it is, and basically you place your project that you're working on in there, and then you just roll it up, and it's all safe and protected so that you can travel with it. I like these not only for travelling with a project and stitching, but these are actually also really useful to store samplers, old samplers, antique samplers safely when I'm working on them if they're unframed. You never know, even if you keep coffee away from the area you're working. I was in the study earlier in the week working, and I could hear this funny noise, and some soot fell down the chimney, and there was a bird that had come down the chimney, and I very quickly grabbed anything that could have got damaged by soot that was sampler related, shut the door, and then I stood there waiting with a blanket for when it popped out through the fireplace. But all we had was lots and lots of soot. I've actually had birds come down the chimney in this room, and you will not believe the damage they cause, but I'm digressing there. I also bought some more 103s, and these are the colours that I picked up, and I think now I probably have the entire range. I think, and I could be entirely wrong, I think there's about 200 that are available through Access Commodities for the Auvert Assoir 103. The sheen on these silks are beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous. Looking forward to using these. Oh, the other thing was that we ran out of some. We ran out of quite a few charts. Some of them I managed to get done whilst I was away. We ran out of the Nashville releases, but they were reprinted. When the Woodlawn Needlework Show results were published, we had a massive run on Elizabeth Furness. John Casimir entered a Hands Across the Sea sampler into the show, and it took first place in counted cross stitch. I think that was the category, counted cross stitch. But anyway, whatever the class was, John took first place with Elizabeth Furness. He took second place with Anne Uffendale, and he took third place with, it's another hand, oh, which was it? I can't remember. Isn't that awful? I'm so sorry, John. But he entered, all his entries were from Hands Across the Sea samplers, and he had rosettes first, second, third, and a highly commendable on the fourth entry. So anyway, there was a massive run on the beautiful Elizabeth Furness, but she is now back in stock and available for purchase on my website. The other chart that recently ran out for, I think, the third or the fourth time is the lovely Eliza Bell Cox. She's now back in stock. And the other sampler that we ran out of was Jane Vaughan, and again this week she has come back into stock. one more thing I wanted to mention. A very good friend of mine who has been a wonderful supporter of Hands Across the Sea samplers, every time we have released a greeting card, she has bought them and she has sent her sister a copy. And her sister has taken the designs from the back of the card and she has created a sampler. Now, isn't that a wonderful idea? So these are the designs on the back of the cards, and when you think about it, the little girls that stitched these samplers years ago would have selected motifs off their needleworker teacher's sampler or out of a book, and then they would have recreated these beautiful samplers that we all love today. So with our greetings cards, we will sell these as mixed packs. They come in a pack of 10 and there are 9 different designs. When you go onto my website, you can put any pack of cards into your basket, and in the checkout procedure there's a facility to leave a message. All you need to say in that message is that you would like a mixed pack, or you can specify you want 1 of this, 3 of that, 2 of this, as long as it adds up to 10. And these cards come with high quality white envelopes and they really are beautiful. So you can stitch the design and then you can send the cards, because you can write a note or a letter inside. So you know, that was a wonderful idea, and thank you very much, Bertie, for buying the cards and sending them to your sister, because it was a joy to see that beautiful sampler. I think that's about it. I'm going to start to rabble if I carry on for any longer. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's Flosstube, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye-bye.